we're going to analyze and debunk some of the conspiracy theories surrounding the Donald Trump shooting in Butler, Pennsylvania. And we're also going to examine, why does the shooter's gun audio, the gunshots, why do they sound different between the first set of shots and the second set of shots? Now, before we go any further, I need to correct a mistake that was made on the last video that I did a couple of nights ago. So you remember when I showed you that site map of the whole area around the rally and the shooting there, and I accidentally put Corey, the guy that got killed, the firefighter, I put him in the wrong spot. So I need to correct that right now. So here's what I had originally showed you on my video the other night. I had showed you that Corey Comprador was on the edge of the bleacher, and I said that was the left bleacher. Unfortunately, I was wrong. I was working too late at night and not completely focused. I didn't realize right in front of me, this was the leftmost bleacher here. And I was correcting that he was on the left side of it, but I was at the wrong bleacher. So let's correct that now. Okay, so now I'm going to grab this and move it over to here. And actually, when you think about it, this makes the most sense. So this makes the most logical sense that the bullets would have come from here. The shooter was back over here on top of that little roof and shot straight this way. And that's why Corey was taken out here. Bullet went right through his head. And we don't know if it was the same bullet that took out Trump or not. We just simply don't know at this point. But the bullet went this way and hit Trump's ear. He was standing right directly here and went here, and we saw the very first bullet hit back over here in the corner. And we don't know if it hit the guy there or if it was the second or third bullet that hit the guy that was there, but we do know that two people here near the end of the rightmost bleacher were injured, and we have video of them being carried out. Remember, what else lends to the validity of this path too is the fact that this is that boom lift where the hydraulic hose got hit right here. And I showed you on my video from a couple of nights ago. Here it is again. Now look over there. See all of that hydraulic oil that's shooting out of the hose there from the boom lift? As the Secret Service is getting the spare limo ready, you can see the puddle on the sidewalk to the right of the screen there. See it? And the entire sidewalk is wet with that hydraulic fluid. So the damage path here makes 100% sense that the shooter was definitely at this angle from where the body of Thomas Matthew Crooks was found on that roof. So how did this happen? Because working 12-hour days for 3 days in a row, trying to get all of the research gathered together and working late at night making these PowerPoint slides. Yeah, we're going to make a mistake here and there, but at least I own up to it. I hold myself accountable to it. And in fact, all of the major news outlets have made mistakes along the way here too. A lot of people originally put the shooter in the wrong spot on the roof. And even ABC News incorrectly reported, at least I think incorrectly, that the Secret Service knew that he was up on the roof for 20 minutes. That couldn't possibly be, because he didn't get up on the roof until just seconds before he started firing. Another question that a lot of the conspiracy people raise is that, hey, maybe there was an open window. Did you see that open window on the second floor of that building? That's where the sniper really was. Well, no, that's where the police were. They were in there. And there was open windows all the way around that building because, I guess, because they don't want to shoot through a closed window if they need to take out a bad guy, right? So the question is, well, then why didn't they see him when he crawled up on the roof? So I have a theory here that maybe they couldn't see him because their view was obstructed. So take a look at this. So when I look at a frame grab here from Action 4 News in Pittsburgh that clearly shows all of the windows open. Now, we don't know where all of the cops were or how many there were upstairs here. Maybe there was one or two, maybe more. I don't know. But let's just say for the sake of argument that they happen to be looking out this window. I bet this is enough of an obstruction right here from this air conditioning duct here that they would not be able to see the shooter all the way down the full length. Remember, the shooter is on this part of the roof, pretty much like right over here, but on the opposite end of this building. So they would have to see way down at a very sharp angle. And I think that this might block the view from this window. Now, if they were in this window and looking over here, chances are maybe they'll see him. But supposing they were like over here and actively looking out these windows trying to find him, and they don't know where he's at, and they're looking, okay? And it's just now at this point in time that it looks like probably this guy or somebody else has gotten this officer and told him that we saw a guy just now climbing up over here. So yes, it is possible that they missed it. Everybody is, all all of the conspiracy theory people are going, there's no way they could have missed it. There's plenty of scenarios how they could have missed it. What if there was only one person in there? And what if he left his post momentarily for a second? Or what if he was looking out this other window and didn't see it? So as I look at the Google Street Map on the main road out in front of this whole Butler Farms area, check this out. Either of these buildings, rooftops, could have been used by a sniper as well, because they had a direct line straight down the field to where Trump was speaking right up at the end here. So that could have been a spot too. But anyway, what I want to focus on is the building. See, there it is, and there's our famous water tower, a couple of 100 feet behind it. But if you look here, let's say the snipers were in any one of these windows here, the police snipers. Could they have seen him on this part of the roof shimmying up? Now, we know why the Secret Service snipers couldn't see him right away, because they're way over on this side, and he's just shimmying up the roof, and he didn't raise his head until the last second when he put the gun up and then took the shots, like instantly. They couldn't make a proactive strike. They had to do a reactive strike. But if the police were in these windows right here, are they at the right height to be able to look in there and see? Let's try from a slightly different angle back here on the main road. I'm going to come right over here. Move over a little bit, see if we can't see it. Okay, so here's the level of the windows right here on the second floor. And it looks like, yes, they should have been able to look over to see him. What I can't do, though, is get close enough up to the building right in front of it to see the projection there of the air conditioning duct that's on the side of the building. This morning I sat in on a live stream from Dr. Chris Martenson. He's from Peak Prosperity, and he had some couple of really good theories about audio that I wanted to run by you too. And we'll take a look at these. So one of the audio issues he pointed out here with these all of these recordings we have of the gunshots is, why do, like, for example, the first 3 gunshots sound different than the second 5, that burst of 5? So you have pow, 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 and then you have pow, 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 pow. Why does these 3 sound different than these 5 here? So take a look at this.
Pretty reliable.
It's going to point over here now.
All that. So this is where this next piece was. So see if you hear the difference between those first 3 shots and those next 5, given that we're in an entirely different location, because maybe the location had something to do with it. Maybe. So let's start there. And
these are the shots.
Here we go. First, we're just going to look at the whole the video, and then we'll just listen to the sound file.
I'll direct you to them.
Okay, we don't need to listen to too much of the screaming, but because there's quite a bit of it. So again, there's a tree over to the left with some buildings. As they swing past this way, you can see there's another tree, and then there's the 2-story building, and then the flat building, which looks like a long, low, sheddy kind of a roof kind of a thing. Let's look at that one more time. He's got a gun on the roof. So the position of this roof, plus you heard that crack, that tells us pretty much where we are. And again, we're right about here. We're under it.
Okay, so let's take a listen here. Here's your 3 shots. And then there's the 5. They do sound a little different. Let's go back again and see what happened. Here we're under a tree. Now we're turning the camera. See? So it's a completely different angle from what we had just a few seconds ago. So if we rewind it back to the beginning again, and I just want to show you what's going on. Look at the difference in angle from where we started to where we ended. Okay? So at the beginning, we were under the tree, and we're facing the parking lot, the front parking lot, way over here, see? So all of these people were just kind of camped out under these line of trees here. And then as you watch, as the camera tilts all the way around to the right, it's going to pan. And then here is the 2-story part of the building. This is where the police were supposedly in here, the snipers. And then our shooter is way over here at the other end of this building. Okay. And then it gets over to here when you start to hear the other 5 Okay, so let's take a look at that angle. So you can see here that there's a huge difference in angle. We're going to take a look at this in a second to see like exactly where it was and what that angle is. But let me just show you how different mics can sound. So here's my voice here. And if I even go back and come back all the way over to here, I probably sound different. And I probably sound different if I come around to the side of the microphone here. So this type of mic that I'm using, this dynamic mic from Shure, it's an SM7B. This is supposed to be my mouth within a couple of inches. That's what the instructions say. I have to be right here in order for it to sound correctly. And so if I change my location, it's going to sound different. It might not sound as full. It might not be as loud. I'm back here now. You might get some echo. Who knows? But you can see just by moving slightly how the sound changes. Okay, so if we go and take a look at that now, we estimate that the person was standing here and they were shooting through the trees, and this was that big one-story building with the parking lot in the background. This is where they were. So they were shooting this direction. They hear the shooting and then immediately turn the camera around going this way to try to see where it was coming from. And at this point, you could see the front edge of this two-story building here, like I showed you, and then the edge, they're looking edge on this building. So that's a very wide angle. You're talking almost 180-degree difference. See, so here they are looking through that line of trees, and that one-story building is in the background, and the parking lot for that AGR building is over here. That's a smaller parking lot. And you can see there's the parking lot right there. And everybody here along these trees has their cameras focused over there on that building. That's why he's turning around now. This guy's going to turn around. So I would love to see all of the cell phone video from every one of these people. I'm surprised they haven't published it yet or put it online, but I want to get the original files. So now he's going to turn the camera around. See, and there's the front face of the building, like I mentioned. See, he's looking back at it right here. And then he's zeroing in on the building. He's going to hear the 5 shots. And he's trying to turn around because he knows the shooter is on top of this building. And when he steps back behind the tree, you can see everybody else has their cameras up and pointed right in that same direction. So this proves pretty much that it's a huge, wide, swinging angle there. And when you have almost 180 degrees difference here in direction that you're shooting at, who knows how it's going to sound? Of course it's going to sound different. Plus, the guy had originally, it looks like he moved out from under the tree and then came back in again. He was moving back under the tree for protection. So, of course, the audio is going to sound different at that point. Okay, so now that we have pretty much established that the bullet came from this direction from the shooter, and everything jives here. There's nothing here that you can say that doesn't match what I'm telling you. Everything happened as it happened. So now let's take a look at this angle here. So some people think that there's a lot of people actually that have this conspiracy theory that there was snipers in this building here that took him out. Like they're accusing the police basically of doing it, which I think is just, it's stupid, it's rude, and it's just, there's really no basis for it. But we'll go ahead and take a look at it anyway. So if there was a shooter in this room, this is the red arrow here. That would be from their sniper angle. And you could see nothing adds up here, okay? Because from this angle, you would be hitting Trump in the forehead. You wouldn't be hitting him in the ear. It would be hitting him in the forehead. And you would take out a couple of people back in here at the back end of the grandstand. And that's not what happened. The shot that rang out took out people on this far corner of the grandstand here on the right-hand side. The yellow line is the current proposed shooting line that everybody so far mainstream agrees, and this is what I agree. This conspiracy theory line right here, I don't agree with this at all. In fact, just looking at that line, it doesn't even pass the common sense test. Now let's just entertain, once again, another conspiracy theory that a lot of people were saying that you got the shooter, that there was another sniper on top of the water tower, a couple of 100 yards away. So here's our conspiracy theory sniper. And right off the bat, I'm already suspicious whether they could even see through these trees. I believe these trees had it obstructed, because remember, you're up high, but you're not really up that high. It's not even 100 feet up. These trees are pretty tall, and whether you have line of sight through these trees is debatable at this point. But let's just assume, for the sake of argument, that a sniper up here could see. And he comes all the way down here, shoots Trump with the bullet, and at this angle, the bullet is not just going to graze Trump's ear. It's going to go through his ear and through the back of his skull and kill Trump. Okay, Trump is still alive, so we know that that didn't happen. And then something else that's not jiving here is, remember, our two shooting victims over here that were injured but survived were right back here on the back end of the right bleachers. So according to this bullet here, that doesn't happen. That's simply not the case. And then, of course, you don't get the hydraulic hose being taken out, which should be somewhere around over here on the boom lift. Okay, so nothing on the conspiracy theories bullet path here makes sense. However, again, the shooter being right here where we know they found his body, that does totally make sense right here. Okay, so it goes this way. So remember, his gun was found right here. He was found about 6 feet this way from the gun. But he likely fired from where the gun was. Either that, or he was firing from here and then threw the gun and it landed 6 feet away. And then he tried to get away, but then was shot by the Secret Service. So again, another one here that does not pass the common sense test. I think we have now debunked the fact that there was no conspiracy theory sniper on top of the water tower. And shame on those Congress people today at the hearing where Kimberly Cheadle from the Secret Service was testifying. They kept bringing this up, and they were saying multiple reports from witnesses on the ground said they saw a person with a gun on top of the tower. That is absolutely not true. I haven't seen a single report or a single interview with a single witness that said, I saw a guy on top of that water tower. What we did see was clowns all over the internet and stuff saying, hey, look at this stupid fuzzy video we have that's all pixelated and all overly compressed. And look, you can see a guy coming out from behind that thing on top of the tower there and shooting. Well, let's take a look at that too. You want a clear picture? Here, I've got a clear photo of the tower for you. So here we are behind the AGR building, and remember, the shooter was right over here on this little roof back here. So here's the water tower, and here's why there's so many holes in their story. So you would climb up this ladder here and get up here. Now, how then would you get to the top there? I don't think this is a ladder. I think that's some kind of an access pipe. See, the pipe continues on down. There may be something on the backside here. I simply don't know. But why in the world would you climb all the way up here, risk your own ass to climb all the way up this thing right here, and to climb up to the very top to shoot? It is so risky up there. It could be very windy up there. You take a shot with your gun and the recoil might make you fall off of this thing. There's no reason to climb up there. All you got to do is climb up the ladder and stand on here on this catwalk, just hang out back here, and around the time that Tom takes the stage, all the shooter has to do is just step right over here, put his gun on the railing, and shoot straight down and take the shot. So let's take a look at that. See, remember, let's see if we can find that. There's your red barns right there. So Trump is over here talking. And this is why I don't think he would have had a good line of sight. Remember, this is in wintertime, I guess, when these photos were taken on Google Maps. But on summer, the trees are, full bloom with leaves and everything, and probably fairly opaque at that point. You would be shooting over here like that, see? So none of this makes sense as to who would try to do anything that dumb. Because now, once you take the shot, everybody knows where you are. And what are you going to do now? You're going to try to shimmy down here somehow? It would take you too long to very carefully back down here and try to then climb down this ladder and escape. Whereas if you're right here on the catwalk, you drop the gun, you run to the ladder, you can almost shimmy down, just grab both sides of the ladder, right, with both hands, and just almost slide down, a quick drop to the bottom, get the heck out of there, hightail it, and run into the woods and just keep running. So, again, the theory behind another shooter being up here on the water tower, I think, is debunked. There's your water tower. And like I said, even if there was a guy on top here, and this was probably the video that people used, and they zoomed in so far, look, so you see this shadow up here? That's too tall to be a guy. They were trying to say that's a guy stepping out from the back of it. Just totally stupid. But anyway, when you look down here, I don't think that from the top of the tower they would have been able to see there. Now, we're way off to the right. Keep in mind, Trump is going to be way back over here to the left. He's pretty much off screen is where the podium is. And what about this sign right here? This might even be blocking the view from the tower. So you see how